Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris and welcome back to another LEGO Dreamzzz Summer 2024 review. Today we'll be checking out Cooper's robot dinosaur C-Rex, a large buildable dinosaur in bright red that can be transformed into a pterodactyl. Let's go. Okay, this is 71484 Cooper's robot dinosaur C-Rex. It comes with 917 pieces, 4 minifigures, one of which is currently exclusive to the set, one little micro figure or animal figure, one brand new dual molded animal, and retails for $80 or 80 euros. Obviously, the primary focus on the build is on the C-Rex itself. But this is a LEGO Dream set after all, so there's quite a few different things that you can actually do with the model itself. You start off by building basically just one rectangular style of box, and that is basically the only thing shared between two builds. From there, you have a choice presented to you. You have the chance to build either a T-Rex or a Pteranodon or Pterodactyl flying creature. And these builds are so different that there's quite a number of even large extra pieces included in this set if you want to make one option or the other. This is the kind of set that if I see it at a discount or I want to pick up a second one, I will definitely want to build this version of the model at some point because they do seem so different from each other, where of course, one version is what you see before you, which is this larger scale T-Rex, or I guess C-Rex, and the other one is this Dinosaur, which is a whole flying creature, where, as you can see from the build on the other page here, it's a very different build. The wingspan is absolutely massive, the wings actually seem to be posable on this one, and it looks like a lot of fun to play with, so this is definitely something I would want to build at some point. It's such a different build that it really does warrant maybe even its own video at some point if I manage to get my hands on a second version, and that's why for right now we're just going to focus on the main A build. I'm going to start off by taking a look at the minifigures and of course going to focus on the main exclusive one, which is Cooper here. Now, Cooper has a brand new outfit for LEGO Dreamzzz Season 2 Part 2. This has not appeared in the show yet, so I don't really know what the story is behind this outfit. I at first thought it was like a Zane leak in disguise from Ninjago because his face is silver and he's got blue eyes, so I feel like this could very easily accidentally pass as Zane, but no, this is Cooper. He seems to be really leaning into the engineering aspect of his character. Presumably he will get his memory back, and here you can see him just adopting this robotic style of personality or avatar. It's a really interesting model, and I actually really like the fact that they actually managed to incorporate some printing on the side of the legs for this character. What's a little more unfortunate though is that this character was clearly designed to be made with dual molded legs, much like many of the other LEGO Dreamzzz characters. Half of the leg is one color, the bottom half is another color, but unlike Matteo, who did manage to get this treatment with dual molded legs, Cooper is stuck with just printing on the side of the legs, but no dual molding, meaning it kind of abruptly cuts off at one point. It's not that big of a deal, and I feel like it is less noticeable for Cooper because the color scheme is pretty muted anyway, but it is a bit disappointing to have a character that clearly was supposed to be designed with dual molded legs in mind, but they just decided not to do it. Not the end of the world, especially for this one, and it is still really nice to get the dual molded legs here, but just something I did want to point out. Now, Cooper himself is sporting the brand new vest element that they've created for the characters in LEGO Dreamzzz, and this one is molded in red. That's what his torso looks like underneath, which is a super simple torso. It's actually just a hoodie with the Dream Chasers logo on it, but I guess if it's simple and it works, why change it? Now, the hairpiece and hat combo is quite interesting because, of course, Cooper used the J hairpiece from Ninjago, but this one is taking that exact hairpiece but putting a hat over it. It recently popped up in the LEGO Ideas Jaws set reveal, which is also a really cool coloration for it to come in, but as it is right now, I think it's a really nice piece. Very cool to get just a variation on an existing hairpiece with a hat on it, and the dual molding is extra special. Now for his weapon, he has an electrified hammer. This is utilizing the new hilt element introduced for the LEGO Dreamzzz characters. You can see it's kind of got this hourglass here with a special satin opalescent transparent blue blend with a lightning bolt out of the back as well, and there's a clip mounted to his back, so while he's piloting the dinosaur, he can actually put the hammer on his back and have a place to store it. Zoe, on the other hand, is in her new outfit, but unfortunately, unlike the version that comes in her $20 cat motorcycle set, she does not have the special avatar firing bow, instead just utilizing a standard purple recolor of the bow, which she also used in Season 1, and then just sporting a standard quiver instead of the cloth element that she got for the Season 1 appearances. Zoe is pretty well done, but definitely the most simple of all of the characters. No leg printing or anything like that on the sides, just super simple dark blue jumpsuit, but I think it works for the character. Representing the forces of evil are their evil counterparts. We have Duper here, the evil version of Cooper, and you can see he has the J wig in the magenta coloration, got an alternate expression as well, so you can see a happy one as well as kind of a more confused or angry one. All of these characters are based off of the Season 1 outfits that the characters use, so this is the evil version of Cooper's race car suit, although I really would have loved to see an evil version of the helmet too. I think that would have really tied the figure together. And then you have Doey, the evil version of Zoe, and she is also utilizing the Season 1 version of the costume, just with an evil twist where you can see two different expressions here, and this one I especially do like as kind of like a smirk or a scoff. As part of the other characters, we also get Sneak here. Sneak, for whatever reason, is depicted amongst the villains in the instruction manual. I guess that either one, he betrays the heroes again, or, much more likely, they just figured that it would be a lot easier to explain him to people who didn't watch the show that this is actually one of the good guys, and they just lumped him in with one of the bad guys, which, you know, that's not fair to my boy. He has proven to be a very, very strong asset to the team, one of the real OGs of the LEGO Dreamz TV show. You gotta put some respect to his name. So yes, it is a little bit sad that he's been relegated to the villain lineup in the instruction manual, but true fans, OG fans, will know which alliance he really is standing for. Of course, we also get one of the Never Witch's Ravens in this set, a brand new mold for LEGO Dreamz, dual molded with black and transparent pink, plus a new mold for this particular glass dome element, which is exclusive to this lineup of Dreamz, with a slight modification to add these specialized ridges on the top of the piece. The whole point of the collecting gimmick this season is that multiple realms in the Dream World are being captured, which is why you can actually see one of the other sets of the wave, Castle Nocturnia, trapped inside this glass bottle. But now let's focus in on the actual mainline set, and aside from one minor side build, which we'll take a look at in a second, this is basically what you get for $80, and given that it's 917 pieces, I'm actually pretty happy with the price on this one. Now, this is a really nicely posable and articulatable dinosaur, and I think that from certain angles, it does look really good. You can move the head up and down. Unfortunately, you can't rotate the head or anything, which I feel is a bit of a missed opportunity, but you can move it up and down, you know, that's still good. You can, of course, bend the legs back and forth. No foot articulation or knee articulation whatsoever. This is literally just a fixed leg, so there's not really much that you can actually do with it, but it is nice and it is nicely detailed. Of course, you can rotate it back and forth here, so you can kind of angle it in a certain direction, and you can also choose to sway the tail back and forth, so the tail is mounted on a ratchet joint, and then you have multiple mini ball joints or mixel joints to actually articulate it one side or another. The arms can also articulate, also on the mixel or mini ball joint, so you can kind of move the arms in all sorts of different directions, wiggle the claws here, and then finally the jaws are also mounted on mini ball joints, so you can, in a very satisfying manner, open and close the jaw while watching the rounded kind of mechanical do not enter sign on the side also rotate back and forth. Now the C-Rex is hiding a secret. Lifting up this panel here reveals Cooper's customs inside there, and that allows you to deploy the smallest of motorcycles for Zoe. This is a super tiny side build. I'm guessing they just had a little bit of extra budget to include it, but it's a nice little touch, and I like how it actually kind of acts as a vehicle deployment bay, because this whole cardboard rectangle type of box here can stand on its own before you build the rest of the dinosaurs, so it's nice it actually kind of acts like a hub for the vehicles. Technically, this is also a separate vehicle, and this seems to be themed more around Mr. Oz, because it's got like the brown color scheme and the copper color scheme, although sadly Mr. Oz is nowhere to be found, so it's just basically driven by Cooper, and also acts as the seat in which he pilots the dinosaur itself. Otherwise, that is pretty much everything that the dinosaur can actually do. But how do I feel about this as a build? Well, as I said, from some angles, I think it looks really good. This, for instance, this is an angle where it seems really, really menacing. It looks like a ton of fun, and yeah, you can't really pose it up that much without like pieces falling off, as I just tried right there. But you know, it does its purpose, it fulfills it, it just stands around and acts menacing as a dinosaur. But I feel like a lot of the cool illusion of the dinosaur is broken as soon as you go ahead and do this. You see, the legs are simply mounted a little bit too far apart to make it have quote-unquote realistic proportions. It almost feels way too goofy in the way they've managed to actually mount the legs here. Now, the reason why this is the case is likely due to the alternate model, which also has the wings kind of splayed out from the sides. But even though this allows you to rotate the legs in a significant range of motion, I just wish there was a more compact joint that they use, because it's especially obvious from the back just how wide the legs are, and then top down, just how widely splayed out the legs are. It just doesn't look right in the way that it's done. Now again, from most angles it's fine. Like from this angle you don't really notice it, and especially from the angle that arguably matters the most, like that front angle right here, kind of diagonally looking at you, you don't even really notice it. So it's not that big of a deal, but I just have to say that like while I was building it, I was really surprised at just how widespread out the legs were. And especially when you have them straight, it just really doesn't look quite right in terms of the proportions. Again, not a huge deal, but just something I wanted to point out. Now, in terms of the detailing on the C-Rex itself, I actually do really like the amount of detail they managed to pack in. It is very, very greebled up. You've got all sorts of different stickers, as well as flame exhausts, engines from a car, spikes on the back, caution stickers, more engine grills on the side here with flames shooting out of the engines, stud shooters on the top here, the jaw which can open and close featuring the do not enter sign on the side. All of that really just adds a lot of character to this model and makes it feel like it's something that Cooper threw together out of spare pieces that he found in a junkyard, which really adds to the very unique aesthetic of it. I also love how the eject sticker is on the back, kind of on the rear end of it, which is just a really funny touch. Now, the way they were able to pull this off is by utilizing the new elements created for LEGO Dreamzzz. These are the supersize macaroni pieces introduced for this particular wave, and then this is one of the two sets that includes these pieces in orange. But overall, I like a lot of stuff about it. I like how they've managed to factor in the fact that it kind of is like a car, but also a T-Rex, come to life. It is truly unique in what it is. It's just the stance of the legs that feels a little awkward to me, like it could have used a bit more refinement before being sent out, because as it is, those legs are just really, really wide. Like the width of the legs is almost as long as the actual dinosaur itself, which is kind of crazy to think about. Otherwise though, I like all these greebly details, not much else I can say about it. Color scheme is pretty good. The azure, red, orange, and brown color scheme is a really nice junkyard aesthetic, and I'm a fan of this set, and I think the price is actually quite good. It's just some things about the build that could be improved. So overall, looking at the set as a whole, when I first was putting it together and seeing images of it, I honestly wasn't really seeing the value, but now that I actually have it in hand, I gotta say, unlike many of the other Dream sets where after building it, it felt like they weren't necessarily worth the money that you would spend on them, this actually feels pretty worth $80. 90 would be pushing it way too much, but thankfully it's not 90, it's 80. 70 would be very nice, and I think that 70 is maybe the fair price for this, but 80 is not bad. And especially in a year where LEGO is getting more and more expensive, I will take what I can get. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Cooper's Dinosaur C-Rex. Hope you enjoyed this special look at the minifigures and the build, and that's it for this one. And with that, we have summed up our individual review of this LEGO Dream set. Let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to like and subscribe to the official Duck Bricks YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.